Everyone, this is Tracer Pixel 128. Yes, I know it's been a month since I last uploaded a video, but I decided to show you all my entire tech collection, including some that I've already shown on the channel before, but I decided to make this video because why not? And first I want to show off these two iPhones that I got last summer. You probably saw that video that I made where I got both of these from the same seller on Swappa. Let's start with this one. This one is an iPhone 4S. This one's locked to AT&T. It's a 16GB model. And it's currently running iOS 6.1.3. And yeah, I need to charge it. Yep. It's still a nice phone from its time, but here is the second iPhone I got. This one is a 5S, also a 16GB model that's locked to AT&T, and this one's currently running iOS 12.5.3. Interesting how Apple is still updating their old phones 7 to 8 years later. This one originally came out in 2013, September 2013 to be exact. This one was famously announced on October 4th, 2011. Which is also when Siri was unveiled to the world, at least Apple's version of Siri. Yep. Already made a video on those two iPhones already. And this is my current daily driver, which is a Prism Blue Galaxy S10e. This one's the 128GB model with a 200GB microSD card, and of course this is my current background. The apps I have installed, and I'm going to go into the settings and see this is the current version of Android that's running, Android 11. It's originally shipped with Android 9, which was codenamed Pi. And hold on, I'm going to show you the rest of the phones that I have, as well as tablets. This is not going to be in any particular order, but starting with on top of the bin is my first gen iPad mini. In case you haven't seen the video and know about the history of this device, this was my cousin's. Oh, no, sorry. And this had belonged to a friend of his before that. And I think it belonged to someone else before that. I think I remember there was like a dent on the back. And it's been in this case, also looks like a cheap Bluetooth keyboard case. It's currently dead at the moment. The battery needs to be charged. I'll probably recharge it, but I don't really use it much, but I keep it in the collection because it's very nice. And I'm going to show you the other two tablets that I have. Starting with one that I've shown multiple times before. If you're a longtime subscriber or viewer of the channel, you may remember this device. The case is in terrible condition. As you can see, it's kind of falling apart and feeling kind of sticky. This is my first gen Google Nexus 7. This is the 2012 model. Even the back's starting to feel kind of sticky due to age. And also I live in a warm environment, so... and the stickers kind of peeling off. I remember back in January 2019, I flashed this back to KitKat. It had Lollipop, but it ran horribly on this device, so I flashed it back to KitKat and it works just fine. Haven't charged it up in a while though. Maybe I could, if I want to do like a nostalgic retrospective on this thing. That was my main tablet from November 6, 2012 until November, December 2014, and I replaced it with this thing. This one is a Samsung Galaxy Tab S. This is the first gen model, the 8.4 inch version in dazzling white. And this was a very thin tablet at the time. It has like it has a micro SD card slot, which the Nexus 7 lacked. Yeah, this was a nice tablet, and these connectors are for the keyboard that it came with. This one is currently running Android Marshmallow, and it became really slow. This originally shipped with KitKat. Yeah, there's a cheap case I got from Amazon that was very similar to this. So, these are my tablets. Now moving on to phones. A lot of phones. I'm going to start with the oldest and go to the newest, or the latest that's in my collection. So starting with the Samsung SCH A870. This one is just a basic flip phone. We had this as our home line at one point. Yeah, it's been dead for many years. The battery is still inside of it. And then next is the LG Envy. At one point this was my mom's phone. This was the second phone that she got on Verizon back in 2007. Around April, May 2007 when she got this. Because the first phone she had was a flip phone. I think it was by either Samsung or LG. There's the information on it. This is the battery. It has an micro SD card slot on it, which we had like a 1 gigabyte. A 1 gigabyte micro SD card for this phone. And it has a 2 megapixel camera on the back. It was an okay phone for the time, of course. And then next is my dad's BlackBerry 8830 World Edition. I've told you about the stories behind these phones, of course, many times. This was on Alltel, because the company that he was working for at the time had Alltel while we had Verizon. We got this around 2008, which was the same year that Verizon bought Alltel. And the information, this is the micro SD card slot for it. Yeah, the battery is somewhere in my dad's desk drawer, but it kind of bulged, so it can't turn on. This one has a trackball on it. I know some older Blackberries that came out before this had a scroll wheel on the side. But yeah, Blackberries, they were great phones for the time. And then after that is my mom's LG NV2. She got it to replace this phone, and this one looks more, this one looks more late 2000s, while this one looks very mid 2000s, of course. I don't think this has a charge on it. Yeah, this one's been dead for many years. 2 megapixel camera. Similar battery. If I can get it off. Battery. And this is, yep, get up in the frame here. This is the micro SD card that we put into this one. This is a 1 gigabyte micro SD card, which is crazy considering that SD cards are up to what, 1 terabyte now? It's insane. I can never fill that up. It's the same thing when I got my first 1 terabyte hard drive. But yeah, it's fascinating how far phones have gotten over the years. Even though this was released at a time when smartphones were starting to become a thing, although I actually got this around spring or summer 2009. Android phones were starting to come out onto the market. iPhone was still exclusive to AT&T, at least here in the US. Android phones were starting to come out, but I think they're still exclusive to T-Mobile for a bit until other carriers got them. Verizon did not get their first Android phone until later that year, which I happen to have right here. Speaking of Verizon's first Android phone, this is the Motorola Droid, which famously released or was announced on November 6, 2009. Has a 5 megapixel camera, which was a standard for the time. Most cameras now, their phones are very high resolution, like up to 100 megapixels. I think my mom's current phone is like that. It's crazy. Like I said, the earliest Android phones would say with Google on them, and they would have a micro USB port. Most Android phones nowadays use USB Type-C. Have been since 2014, 2015-ish. And this had a slide-out keyboard, which I heard slider phones are starting to make a comeback now. It's crazy. Same with flip phones, where you had the Galaxy Z Flip, excuse me, sorry, I can't really speak tonight because I'm getting a little tired, and the new Motorola Razr that just came out, although that was during the Lenovo era. This is back when Motorola was still independent, and it was just a couple of years before Google bought them, and then after that they famously sold them to Lenovo. That's where you put the SD card in there. I remember when I got this, this had a 4 GB micro SD card. This was my dad's, this was the second one he had. The first one he had belonged to a company that he doesn't work for anymore. This is the second one that a friend of his who lived up in New York at the time sent to him. And then the third one came in a case that he borrowed from another friend, and yeah. I think this one is currently running Froyo on it. I could be wrong. The touchscreen does not work anymore, unfortunately. But it's still an interesting piece in Android history. And then after that, I got 2 phones that were purchased at the same time. This one is the Microsoft Kin that was manufactured by Sharp. This is actually the M series model. You probably have seen various videos about this phone, like Michael MJD's video about this phone saying like it infamously sold for only 48 days. Well, this was the M series model that they had re-released in late 2010. If I recall correctly, this ran like a modified version of Windows Phone 7, but I could be wrong because it had like the tiles, but not quite Metro, but sort of kind of like it. I remember the camera being decent on this. It had like an 8 megapixel camera, which actually blew the DSi I had out of the water. Then again, this was a wannabe smartphone, mostly aimed towards teenagers or young adults. My mom was outside the target audience for that, but whatever. She needed a cheap phone to replace her then 2-year-old NV2. And then this one is an LG Accolade, just a basic flip phone that my mom got for my dad when he got laid off at the previous company that he worked for, and then he moved to another company and he needed a phone for work, so this is what she gave him. It's decent, it's just basic. But still looks pretty cool though. Now, on to smartphones. More Android smartphones, starting with what my dad replaced his Droid with. This is the Galaxy S3. My dad famously got this from our local Sam's Club for 96 cents, as a pre-Black Friday deal. It was crazy. He rooted this, and if I remember right, it ran ROM 8. So this used nano sims rather than, no, not nano sims, sorry, micro sims rather than nano sims. It was around the time when Verizon was starting to use sims in their phones for 4G. This originally shipped with Android 4.0.4 ice cream sandwich and could go all the way up to KitKat if the model has 2 gigabytes of RAM. I think this one has 2 gigabytes of RAM, but I think this one's still rooted. This was one of the best-selling Android phones of all time. Pretty much everyone used these. And I remember some newer Disney Channel shows actually use the store display models of this phone as props instead of iPhones or fake iPhones. They would use the store display versions of the Galaxy S3, the ones where it has like a plastic screen that can't really do anything with it. Yeah. That's a very interesting fact to tell. And then I have 2 of the same phone right here. These are 2, Galaxy Note 2s. This one was my mom's that she got in March 2013. Also from Sam's Club. She got it to replace this phone. So she finally joined the 21st century and got a proper smartphone. Yeah, it's in a cheap case that she got from Best Buy, I think, and this sticker I added years later. This was my phone for about 3 years. Because I told you the story that my Nexus 7 had broke in December 2013. My mom gave me this phone, and this was my phone, my temporary phone for about 10 days until I got my tablet back. But I still kept using this because it felt more powerful. Until I retired it around the summer of 2013 when my mom retired her Galaxy Note 4, which I'm about to show next. And then I ended up using the Galaxy Note 4 instead. It still turns on, but I haven't charged it in a while. This one was the replacement one that she got after she accidentally broke this one. back on. I used it temporarily, and yeah, I put an Ubuntu logo sticker because why not? This one does not work anymore, unfortunately, and I stole the S Pen from it because the S Pen on this phone, the tip broke, and I think this one broke as well. This is an older S Pen, meaning you cannot replace the tips on them, unfortunately. But still, these were nice phones. This one, I used this one as my camera for many years on YouTube before I switched to other phones, including this one. This one's the Galaxy Note 4. My mom also got this from Sam's, I think. Yeah, this one is a 32GB model, I think. And this is currently running Marshmallow. It originally shipped with KitKat, and this was a nice phone, but unfortunately it suffers from a major boot loop problem. It can't really charge properly, which is sad because I loved using this as my main phone, then I used it as my backup phone when I got my Pixel. It had a great camera on it too. I also used this as my camera for a while. But yeah, this was a good phone. And then finally for my phones I have this. This is the source of my channel's namesake. The original Google Pixel. Yeah, I know it looks like an iPhone, of course. Even Google Lens thought this was an iPhone. This actually reuses the case to a previous HTC phone, the HTC One A9, released in 2015. This one's the 128GB model. I remember this had like a fantastic camera, still had a headphone jack, USB Type-C. It was a great phone. This originally shipped with Android 7.1 Nougat, and it supported all the way up until Pi. But unfortunately, just like with the Galaxy Note 4, this one also suffered from a boot loop problem, which that really made me upset. And I wasn't thinking about getting a new phone so soon, so I had to go to the Verizon store on the morning of June 2nd, 2019, and replaced it with, of course, I've already shown this already, my Galaxy S10e, which still works fine, by the way. I don't plan to upgrade anytime soon. So anyways, that is my phone collection, but I'm also going to show you some of the other tech stuff in my collection. So I'm just going to end this clip right here. Get into some consoles, starting with my very first console. This one is a Game Boy Advance SP. This might be an AGS 101. Yep, this is the backlit one. They've actually become very valuable. There's also a SpongeBob one that's similar to this. But it has the same backlit screen and everything. That's also very valuable. This one's covered in scratches. It's been dropped over the years. The sticker, I peeled it off. I remember getting this from a Toys R Us back in early 2007. It must have been 6.5 when I got this. I don't know why I decided to get a Game Boy Advance when the DS was already out by this point. I mean, the DS Lite was already out for a year. I have no idea. I was a weird kid, so maybe because I just saw this as a cheaper option. Who knows? But I have memories of playing Super Mario World on this thing and some others. Never had Pokemon. Wasn't really into that. But I know those games have gone up in price, of course, because of the recent boom that's been happening. Not just in terms of the trading cards, but the video games as well. So the Game Boy Advance, more specifically the Game Boy Advance SP, this one's still playable. And then I got this. This one is the Leapster. I got this for Christmas in 2007, the same year I got my Game Boy Advance SP. Of course, this is an educational game console, and I've had this for many years. Still turned on. And it still works. So the cartridge for it, the cartridge slot's kind of dirty and the screen's kind of scratched. A lot of my stuff has scratches on it. It has like crayon on there for some reason. I remember I wanted to get this because some of my old homeschool friends at the time, they had a Leapster, and I was like, oh, I kinda want to get that. And at times I was playing this more than the Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, because I had started homeschooling in 2007. Hey, this is educational, so yeah. And then 2 years later, I got this. This is the Nintendo DSi. I remember my dad telling me about this when we were coming home from picking up food at a restaurant or something. He told me about this and I immediately got excited because I remember wanting a DS because my childhood friend had a DS Lite, wanted to be just like him, and I was like, nah, I want the DSi because it has much better features. I actually got a DSi before he did, and he would borrow it to take pictures. And you can see this one's not in the greatest shape. Some of the paint's kind of rubbed off and it's been dropped. There's a gouge in the screen from when I had misplaced my stylus and used a chopstick and accidentally gouged the screen. I was a dumb kid. Then I could turn it on. And it still works. Yeah, it's actually my cat Georgie. May he rest in peace. Yeah, the software version on this is 1.4.5. Stylus is kind of chewed up over the years. I distinctly remember using this thing to go on to Flitna Hatena. Does anybody remember Flitna Hatena? I mean, put your memories down in the comments. I saw so many Flitnas that are actually on YouTube today, believe it or not, including the parodies by Anthony. Classic. And moving on to home consoles. I only have 2 home consoles at the moment. This is my Wii that I've had since 2007. This is what I remember my mom and I going to our local Walmart, and that was the last one they had in the store. Apparently someone had it reserved and they canceled it and they ended up selling it to us. So we took it home and we set it up and we loved it. I still play it sometimes. And then here is my Nintendo Switch that I've had since February 2020. You probably remember when I took a look at this in my 80 subscriber special. I actually pulled off the Joy-Con. I wanted to show you what's on my Switch. I have the YouTube app. Oh! I swear these things... Okay, stop it. Okay, alright, I am starting to experience drift. I have to get these cleaned or something. Anyways, I have the YouTube app. Megadimension Neptunia V2. This is the best JRPG ever. And I'm not exaggerating, it has the best story, the best characters. It's just my silly, okay, not a silly personal opinion, but let's just say this game will make you regret getting a PlayStation 2. If you played through the game, you'll know what I'm saying. You'll understand. I have Hulu that I use sometimes to watch reruns of Gravity Falls on Disney XD, as well as watching Toonami. Yeah. Puyo Puyo Tetris, which is... It's become one of my favorite favorite games recently, at least the Puyo Puyo series, because of its ties to Neptunia, of course, in terms of developers as well as the voice cast. Miitopia demo, which yes, I kind of jumped onto that bandwagon. I'll show you some of my creations on my other channel, Daydream Tracer. Then I have, Switch Online for Super Nintendo. I like playing Mario World, and sometimes I like to play Super Puyo Puyo 2. Super Mario Maker 2, I know it didn't really get a lot of updates, but that is a fun game. And then you have Switch Online for the NES. I wish they had the N64 and the Game Boy Advance would be pretty cool, as well as the GameCube, if they can figure out emulation for those. We have Smash Ultimate, which I haven't played in quite a while because I took the card out and ended up playing V2 instead. Still, it's a fun game. Same with Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Never played the other Shantae games. Actually, I take that back. I played the original Shantae via an emulator. I know. And then lastly, the last game that's installed on this Switch is Bayonetta 2, which is also an awesome game. I'm still waiting for Bayonetta 3 though, if that will ever come out. So that is my Switch, and as for the other Joy-Con, let's see what version this is currently running. This is currently running version 12.0.2. So that is what is on my Switch as of right now. Anyways, real quick, I'm going to show you some of the other stuff I have. This is my Echo Show 5. I've already done a video on it. Here is my Samsung Galaxy Watch that I've also had since 2019. I should probably let that boot up while I go over some of the other stuff. This is my current PC that I've also had since 2019. Still works, needs to be cleaned. And then right here is my Mac Mini, which I do a lot of my music production on. Go check out my SoundCloud. I'm not saying it as a joke, I mean really. I'm not saying it as a joke. It's better than 90% of the artists on SoundCloud, that's for sure. Even if it's just me messing around on GarageBand. And then over here is my range extender. I know it. The Switch, the router, and the modem are all the way downstairs. I have to use this as a temporary solution until I get my own wireless Switch. Then over here in that box is my old Echo Dot. And then over here is my Google Home Mini that I've had since 2017. And some random boxes. Random stuff here and there. Nothing really tech related at all, so... Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this long video of me showing off my tech stuff. I really am a nerd. Here's my screwdriver set that I've had for a really long time. It was my dad's, but he gave it to me. So anyways, that was my watch. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and more videos will be coming soon, so stay tuned. I'm on a different phone for this video, but here is my backup phone, which is the Moto Z Force Droid. This was my mom's phone at one point. This is what I currently use to film my videos with. And this is currently running Android 8.0 Oreo. It was originally shipped with Marshmallow. So that is the last thing I'm going to show in this video until I get more tech stuff soon. So stay tuned, like I said in the previous clip. Don't lose your dream, make it a reality. Need to come up with a better outro?